Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher, alongside my good buddy Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the possible arrival of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, great, and we'll catch him up on what we missed. Or if we don't, then that's fine. I guess we'll wait for him on another evening. So, guys, you guys already know how we do this. NXT 2.0. Then we will follow it up with AEW Dynamite. Of course, tonight was the Beach Bash on TBS, and we had ourselves quite a show. So, nothing more to say. Let's dive right in. You already know what we start off with. We start off with NXT 2.0. That was held last night on USA. And when we started the whole thing off, let's see. Hold on. Here we go. So we started the whole thing off with a first round matchup in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, as it was MSK. They went up against Jacket Time. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout advancing to the semifinals. Unfortunately, I don't have a time of the fall. Is MSK. Look, this was expected. I think we all could openly predict that MSK was going to win this. They are considered heavy favorites to possibly win the Dusty Classic. So, I mean, there's really nothing more to add here. This seems like a very solid match, Anthony. I gotta say, at the end of the day, I could say maybe three and a quarter more than anything else. So, with that said, it's all yours, my friend.
All right, thank you very much, MF. Three and a half stars for me. While this occasionally got sloppy, both tag teams kept the energy high. MSK looked great as always. Kushida and Jiro have fantastic chemistry as a team. I think this is a match that should be revisited down the line on a major stage. The Dusty Classic has required NXT 2.0 to give more time to the talent, and it has absolutely improved the product. This show needs longer matches that reward viewers that stick around for it, and MSK has the potential to make every match stand out. So I'm going to give this 3.5 stars for the effort. So with that being said, MF, let's get into the next match. Set me up, and I'll take it first pick.
It was Solo going one-on-one with Boa. No disqualifications. Solo wins the match in 8 minutes and 8 seconds. 8:08. Anthony, it's yours.
Fun little sprint. 3 to 3.25 stars. This was a great showcase of two young wrestlers with a bright future. Solo Sikoa helped to bring out Boa's best in a fresh stipulation for both men. While he fell short, Boa looked like he could hang with one of the most natural and seasoned performers in NXT 2.0. It's a shame that Boa lost, though, since his gimmick is only forming. He needs to win big in the near future so that his story does not go the same way as Mi Ying. Solo Sikoa is a seasoned talent that could easily appear on Friday Night SmackDown or Monday Night Raw tomorrow without concern. So I got to give this a good 3 to 3.25. Fun little sprint. So there's nothing really much more to say except MF. I mean, that dive by Sikoa through the table.
Oh my God! Oh yeah, that was the highlight of the match. That was definitely the highlight of the match, and that was the water cooler moment of the night, to say the very least. That was pretty awesome. Even I had to openly admit that was pretty awesome. Solo was all right. I mean, so was Boa. I thought they both did a very good job. I think it was a solid match. And yeah, I'll give this about 3.25, 3.5. I'll give you that, Florio. I agree. Then we had Duke Hudson. He basically squashed the guy in about 1:08. We're not talking about that. So then we had a 6-woman tag. Toxic Attraction. Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane. They went up against Kaylee Ray, Persia Porata, and yes, I'll double R it just for Florio, even though I don't think it needed it, and Indy Hartwell. And when it was all said and done, Persia, Indy, and Kaylee wins the match, and it was Persia pinning Gigi Dolan for the 1, 2, 3. Anthony, first off, the time of the fall was 10 minutes and 25 seconds. Solid match, another 3-star bout, well done, but Persia pinned Gigi. Championship committee moment.
100% agree. It is a championship committee moment. Persia Parada and Indy Hartwell are clearly the number one contenders for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. The earliest possible date I see this happening will be Tuesday night, February the 15th, as part of Vengeance Day. Now, it was a takeover event last year, but this is going to be on the USA Network as part of an NXT 2.0 special. And and if it's anything like Halloween Havoc and New Year's Evil, we're in for something awesome on that night. Let's not kid ourselves. This was a fine, story-driven tag team match, though it followed a predictable formula. Toxic Attraction dominated until the action broke down. Kaylee Ray got her chance to truly start building her rivalry with Mandy Rose as she isolated her from Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. This also allowed Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada to pick up a key win. Even if the two lose in the Women's Dusty Tag Team Classic, this win will set them up for an NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match sooner rather than later. Parada has especially impressed with more time in the ring. She and Hartwell have done a lot with a limited story to sell their dynamic outside of the way. So I'm going to give this 3.25 to 3.5 stars for the effort. So with that being said, MF, set me up for the next match and I will gladly start it.
It is another Dusty Classic first round match. Your boys, Anthony, the grizzled young veterans, going up against Andre Chase and Bohani
Cody Hayward.
Yep. So, but it doesn't matter. Grizzled young veterans, they win the match. They advance. 5 minutes and 11 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
2.25, 2.5. Chase U has gone through a surprise evolution over the last few months. Chase has gone from heel jobber to lower mid-card face with a fiery babyface student behind him. It was cool to see them working together, making Chase look far more competent. In the end, though, GYV had to win. The veterans have earned far better than they have received. It is likely Gibson and Drake will lose to the Creed brothers, but it should be a really good tag team match. Von Wagner, and after the match, Von Wagner laid him out, and Robert Stone was right there, and now Von Wagner is under Robert Stone management. And now Stone has a chance to become more than a joke now with one of the top priority stars in NXT 2.0 under him. Could this finally be the moment for Robert Stone? I mean, we know the track record has not been good. I mean, he messed up Chelsea Green so much that Chelsea went to Impact Wrestling, for goodness sakes. And look what look what she's doing now. I mean, she's right now one of the top knockouts in the knockouts division. I mean, I know she's still got a ways to go in that realm, but she is definitely one of the upper echelon of the knockouts division there. And of course, how he messed up Aaliyah, but look where Aaliyah is now.
Yes.
Setting records on SmackDown, for goodness sakes.
She's rising too. Her stock is rising week after week with her.
Breakout star potential.
Very much so.
That's all I'm saying right there. And I hope that she gets, that big payday.
And then of course you also got Frankie Monet and Taya Valkyrie.
And she's gone.
And she's gone. And we don't know where she's going yet. There are rumors that maybe she goes back to AAA. There's been rumors of her maybe returning to Impact. There's rumors of her possibly heading to AEW. So, I mean, right now, we got to wait and see what happens after this 60-day non-compete clause expires. But she could be going anywhere because basically, as a free agent, she could go to any company in the world right now. And I know for a fact AAA wants her back, like bad.
Definitely.
Want her back. as soon as possible. And I know Impact has made a play for Taya to come back as well.
Of
So you already
course.
got two companies already looking to get her. And then there's been no mention of AEW, but you got to think that they probably are looking at her, trying to boost her. They're already starting to look like a pretty loaded women's division in AEW. They're starting to look good. Or does she go to Ring of Honor? Because remember, Supercard of Honor in April, you're going to need some big names over there. Why not have one of the biggest names with La Loca, Taya Valkyrie coming back? Who knows how that plays out?
Oh, yeah, positively, a lot to think about here, no doubt about that. And well, I mean, anything can happen. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, Impact, she was a great fit down there, former knockout. I mean, no, not just a former champion, the longest knockouts champion in history. 377 days, I believe she held that thing. So even though Deanna came very close to breaking that record, but story for another day. But the point is, Robert Stone messed up a lot of careers, but now he doesn't have, these average gals. Oh no. You got a big boy with him now.
He's got a workhorse.
And this has the potential to finally be the big star that he's been looking for all this time. And I know I've gotten on his case so many times. I've never liked the guy, going back to the Robbie E days down there in Impact. But hey, if you have a legit talent like Von Wagner, another one who has breakout potential, we'll have to wait and see. Excuse me. I mean, this has potential to be something really good for Robert Stone. This could finally be his big moment. So, but that's all. So we'll see what happens with that. So as for this, like I said, 2.5 stars. Predictable outcome, but MF, is it just me, or did Bodie Hayward have a little bit of a badass Billy Gunn kind of look to him?
He did. I totally agree with that. And I kind of thought about that. I'm like, that's a little interesting.
The ponytail.
Yeah. Not bad.
The whole gear and everything else. I thought I was having flashbacks to badass Billy Gunn from the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. No doubt.
2.5.
All right. So next up we had was Io Shirai, the genius in the sky, going up against Tiffany Stratton, making her NXT, I guess you could say, in-ring debut.
No, she's wrestled before. She wrestled a squash match.
Oh, well.
So it's her second.
This is her first pure
real
match.
Legit.
Yeah. And Io Shirai wins the match 4 minutes and 18 seconds. I'll say this. It was pretty one-sided. I will say that. Tiffany really didn't get anything going. I kind of feel like it was all right for what it was worth. I don't think there was anything spectacular. But I will say this. Io is without a doubt the star. She is a former NXT Women's Champion. We love Io Shirai. She is one of the big names. I kind of feel like she could easily establish herself once again as a contender for the NXT women's title. If she could easily get back into that picture and battle Mandy Rose for that title at any time. It just, I know they want to give it to Kaylee Ray. Granted, she deserves it. I think Kaylee is awesome. But you got to think that if Kaylee loses, Io's name has to be on that list of possible challengers for Mandy Rose. So Mandy might get by Kaylee Ray, but you could see maybe lurking not that far behind is the genius in the sky, Io Shirai. She definitely will be in the conversation very soon for the NXT Women's title. So this was more of a showcase than anything else. So I could give this about maybe 1.5. Unfortunately, worst fight of the night, but like I said, more of a good showcase than anything else. So Florio, it's yours.
Tiffany Stratton is still far from ready. She looked better than her last performance, which was helped by competing with one of the best women's wrestlers in WWE. However, the Genius of the Sky could only do so much, selling for awkward offense. It would have been nice to see something more come of this segment. Shirai was always going to defeat Stratton. There could have at least been some story development on who Io Shirai will team with in the Women's Dusty Classics, so we'll have to wait and see there, but agreed. 1.5. Worst fight of the night. No question about that. So with that being said, MF, let's get into our main event with high stakes with the Vengeance Day implications.
Oh, yeah. It is a number one contenders match for the North American Championship. Tony D'Angelo going one-on-one with Cameron Grimes, winner of the bout in 11 minutes and 41 seconds. And the number one contender for the North American Championship, it is Cameron Grimes. And he's going all the way up to a date at Vengeance Day, as he will get to fight for the North American title. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
I would say fight of the night here. 3.5 stars for this. Cameron Grimes is a great veteran to help young talent along, and he did just that with Tony D'Angelo. This was a test that Tony D passed with flying colors. He looked like he was absolutely at the level of the technical savage from the opening bell to the finish. Tony D'Angelo versus Pete Dunne is clearly not quite done, and the final contest could be great. The bruiserweight is too good to leave NXT 2.0 before he is ready. He has plenty more to gain from working on this young developing roster as a young veteran. Cameron Grimes has a date set with Carmelo Hayes. That'll be one to watch. While Grimes is a quality veteran, it could be Hayes that pushes him to his best match in NXT 2.0. Right now, I would say this is the second biggest win of his career. The biggest one as of yet was when he won the $1 Million Championship last summer. But I'll tell you, MF, if Cameron Grimes somehow finds a way to beat Carmelo Hayes at Vengeance Day, February 15th, if he walks out with the North American Championship, that will be the new biggest win of his career. It's still that $1 Million title win for right now, but he beats Melo. That's going to be the biggest win of his career, because that's the North American Championship. That's the number 2 belt in NXT. So, no questions. So, 3.5 stars for me. MF, big win for him. But the question is, could it lead to the biggest win of his career come Vengeance Day?
Man, I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a little bit of a tough call. We'll wait and see how it plays out. But I'll say this will be a heck of a matchup more than anything else. So, yeah. I thought it was all right. I thought it was solid for what it was worth, and I don't think there's anything more to say. So, yeah, I'll say 3.25, 3.5. As far as overall review goes, I gotta say this was actually a pretty good NXT. I mean, there was a couple of fights that we weren't really too high on. I get it, but all in all, I thought this was a solid show. I thought they kind of had a pretty all right show. 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I think this was a fine show. So Anthony, I'll give it to you.
I'll actually be generous and I'll actually give it the 7. I mean, we only had maybe 2 bad matches on this show.
I agree. Yes.
The Duke Hudson squash and Io Shirai and Tiffany Stratton. Other than that, I mean, all the other matches, were either solid or good or great. And one of the better regulation 2.0 shows. And who knows, maybe I'm hoping that this is the start of a more positive trend for this show, because me especially, and even Bullock, we've gone on the record, we've poo-pooed on this show a lot ever since this started last September. So, because we would usually get a good opening match, a good main event, and the stuff in between was blah. Well, not as bad as we're usually accustomed to. So, I'm encouraged. So we'll have to wait and see if this upward trend continues. I hope it does. I want to see this do well. I do, but it's a work in progress, but this was definitely a step in the right direction here. No question about that. So it still has work to do. I mean, it's not there yet. It's far from perfect, but hey, if they keep putting in efforts like this, hey, we might actually have a reason to take this seriously. So hope so. So it's a 7 for now, but like I said, MF, if the Vengeance Day show is anything like Halloween Havoc or New Year's Evil, look or even War Games, look out.
Yeah,
So,
look out indeed.
7 out of 10. Even though this show is on the campus of Cleveland State University tonight on a very chilly night, it's as chilly as it is here. Beach break in a chilly Cleveland.
Yeah. So here we go. And we started it off red hot. The ladder match to determine the undisputed TNT champion, the interim champion, Sammy Guevara, going up against the champion, Cody Rhodes, the winner of the bout, and the undisputed TNT champion, the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara, winning the match in 22 minutes and 34 seconds, without a doubt. Fight of the night. 4.5 stars. An unbelievable way to start the show. This had everything in this match. This was incredible. Sammy now an undisputed champion, winning back the belt from the man that took it from him the first time around, that really caused an internet riot that night. A lot of people were not happy that Cody won the title initially, but Sammy gets the titles back. He's now undisputed champion, winning not only his belt but Cody's belt. He ended up with the two belts in possession. He wins it all. Anthony Florio, my God, what a way to jump it.
This, in my opinion, this should have been the main event. If I'm being honest, but but then again, how many times have we said a certain match should have been the main event and they ended up starting the show with it? Hangman and Danielson twice. So, but anyways, I 100% agree. 4.5, maybe even 4 3/4. Heck, you can definitely make an argument for 5. No question about it. This was a phenomenal effort by Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. They busted their asses to put over the match itself, but more importantly, the prize they fought for. The TNT Championship was absolutely elevated by way of the brutality and chaos that ensued from the opening bell. Ladder matches are beyond overdone at this point, and there was a spot or two that definitely didn't need to happen to ensure the quality of it. The Crossroads with its full body twist left little room for error and could have easily ended in disaster. It didn't, though, and the right guy went over. What this means for Cody Rhodes and how he reacts to or tries to explain away the outcome will define his character moving forward. But yeah, that Crossroads spot was one thing. But MF, I mean, seriously. That cutter, that Sammy hit.
Sammy's just a freaking animal, man. He's a knucklehead. Half the time he's a freaking knucklehead, and oh my God, man. I know what you mean by that cutter. That was picture perfect.
I think that may be that definitely ranks up there as one of the sickest spots I've ever seen since AEW started. I mean, it's definitely in that top, in the upper echelon of that. It may not be the sickest spot because there've been some spots that have been sicker than that, but that definitely is going to rank up there for me. I mean, that's the one that did it for me. So, man, was that fun to watch. My only gripe is that it wasn't the main event. That's just me. But
yeah,
but the main event tonight, more than made up for it. So I can understand. So 4.5, teetering on 4 3/4. This was definitely the fight of the night, no question about that. So obviously they wanted to go for the high flying spot fest here. They did just that, and credit where credit is due, and major big ups to both men for a phenomenal effort. And MF, everybody, I know a lot of people don't really think highly of the TNT Championship out there, but tonight, them two boys, they not only stole a dang show, but they put some respect on that belt.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, anybody who kind of questions the legality or the legitimacy of the TNT title, I think you got to watch this match, and then you'll see why this title now becomes more of a eye opener than anything else, because that's exactly what they just did. They made this into an eye opening moment, and now that title now becomes more like it just went up like tenfold on what you may think of. So no, this was awesome. This was amazing. Um, I don't think there's anything bad to say about it. So we're just gonna move right on along, folks. And the next thing that we had on this show, unfortunately, we had Warlow, and he just went up against two guys, handicap match. Warlow crushes him in a minute and 28. So, yeah, nothing more to add there. Then we had a six-person tag. It was Santana Ortiz and Chris Jericho versus Daniel Garcia and 2.0. When it was all said and done, the face team, Santana Ortiz and Chris Jericho, winning the match, 9 minutes and 31 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 to 3. It feels like a giant waste of time to have pushed Lee, Parker, and Garcia on television for as long as AEW did, just to use them as bit players in the slow disintegration of Inner Circle. The heels, despite the increase in television time and the attention paid to them in recent months, were afterthoughts here. They were bit players as the story centered on Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz in what may or may not be the waning days of the Inner Circle. Not that the story isn't intriguing or worthy of the time and effort. If that is what the intent was, though, could the heels not have benefited from a win? Could they not have gained more out of winning than failing to capitalize on their opponent's inability to get along? The quality of the in-ring action and Jericho's facial expressions helped elevate it, but did not make up for the curious creative. I can only give this 2.5 to 3, so not much more to say. MF, it looks like we got some chinks in the armor of the Inner Circle, dissension among the ranks, if you will.
Yeah, dissension among the ranks. Well, there was talk that they are possibly setting up for the eventual implosion of it, which is sad, man. I mean, with everything that this team has brought to the party and everything else, and what they've brought to AEW, it'd be a little bit of a shocking and I'll openly admit, even a little bit of a disappointment if this is what they tend on going with. So I mean, I don't think there's really anything else to add. I think it was a solid match, but like you said, this could have been 10 times more better than what it was. And at the end of the day, I think it was fine for what it was worth. I think it's just I think we just feel like it could have been thousands of times more better. But at the end of the day, this is what we got, and this is what we're looking at. So really, nothing more to add. I think this was a solid 2.5-star match, and I agree with that. Next up, we had was legit Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. Legit Layla Hirsch wins the match in 8 minutes and 32 seconds. And then after the match was over, Layla Hirsch puts that armbar on Red Velvet. That brought out the Alien. That brought out Chris Statlander to break things up. Legit Layla Hirsch was like, "Oh heck no, I'm out of here!" Before the fight before a brawl breaks out. I'm gonna say I like this attitude of Layla Hirsch. I'm actually digging it. I like it. She's a badass, and that's why I think she should be. You know, I don't know why the look of her, the makeup of her, the style of her fighting, the style of her wrestling. She is a brawler in your face. Doesn't give a you know what. I actually like her better as a heel than a face. I don't know if I really would have taken her seriously as a baby face. Now that she's got the look of it, I love what I see of Layla Hirsch. I think she'll go far with this heel turn in AEW. I think she'll do wonders with this heel turn. So I thought the match was a fun little sprint. I'll go 2.5. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. This. Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet put in the work, but the match was a clash of styles, and the finish was anything but smooth. AEW has made a concentrated effort to provide women's programs away from the title picture, making use of its talented and expansive women's roster. And the feud with Leela Hirsch and Chris Statlander is a nice way to utilize them. I could probably give this about 2.5 stars for this. I mean, that's really as far as I can go. Hirsch and Statlander does have potential, but that's a wait and see. So 2.5 stars for me. So with that being said, MF, set me up for the next match.
All right. And actually, Anthony, it's our main event, the big one. It is Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy, lights out match. This is non sanctioned. Therefore, the records will not reflect on this matchup. The winner in 17 minutes and 1 second is Orange Cassidy. He gets the win. Anthony, like I said, there is no official record on this one. So Adam Cole, yes, he gets the loss, but this does not go against his record. Just like when Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker faced off, Rosa won the match, but Baker did not suffer the defeat in the loss in this matchup. But it's yours.
Okay, so 1701, and based on what I saw, this was the second best fight of the night. I'm going to give this about 4 to 4.25. While this lacked the violence fans have come to expect from the lights out matches, this was still a fun brawl that put an exclamation point on the rivalry between the Super Click / Red Dragon and Best Friends. It also protected the undefeated streak of Adam Cole in that the loss doesn't count under lights out rules, which does beg the question, why book oneself into this corner if it was unnecessary? Nothing about the match suggested it needed the lights out stipulation, but it needed to carry that stipulation to prevent Cole from losing. So, and this might be a totally ridiculous concept, but why even write into existence a storyline that must conclude with Cassidy beating Cole if you don't want the latter to lose, yet in accordance with the company's ranking system? It's nitpicking, I know, especially after such a fun main event, but it did seem a bit ass backwards to book something that wasn't wholly necessary or even desired based on the very utilization of the stipulation. Either way, Cassidy earned a big win. Cole was protected and the crowd went home happy. That's all you can ask for. So I'll give it 4 to 4.25 stars. This was the second best fight of the night, nitpick aside. So with that being said, MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, it does seem like a little bit of a nitpick, Florio, but like you said, you are absolutely right on a couple of fronts. First off, the right team, the right part, in my opinion, the right man won. It needed to be Orange Cassidy. I feel like if Orange Cassidy would have lost this match, I think it really would have hurt him in the long term. Because, like we said, Lights Out is non sanctioned. Therefore, that means that if Adam Cole can suffer a loss and he will not be punished. And I think that's exactly why they did what they did. So for me, I thought they did the right thing. I thought it was an incredible main event. And for me, I was thoroughly impressed with the way that this ended up. So congratulations, Orange Cassidy. Great way to close the show. I really had nothing more to add. So we're done for the night. Actually, no, overall review, 7 to 7.5 out of 10 for me for this show. I thought it was a solid show. Aside from maybe the Warlow squash, and then I know there was a couple of other things. There was maybe one other thing along the way, but I thought it was a lot of it was solid to good to great. But here's the thing: the beginning of the night and the end of the night were absolutely amazing. In the middle, though, a lot to be desired. I'm gonna be openly critical about it. there was a lot to be desired in that middle part. Even though the beginning and the end were freaking awesome and what we expect in AEW, but some of it was a little bit of a half job, as Anthony said earlier. So I mean, it was fine. It was good. I would probably say more 7.5. You could say 8 if you want to. I know that's a little bit of a reach, but 7.5 to 8. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 7.5 to 8. But there are a couple of things that we didn't really address that should have been addressed. First things first, 2 weeks, which would be February the 9th in Atlantic City, Hangman Adam Page is going to defend the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against the Murder Hawk monster, Lance Archer, in a Texas death match. Whoa. Okay. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be nothing like that ass backwards Texas death match that Mickie James and Deonna Purrazzo had at the Hard to Kill event. Oh, no. I think it's going to be the Texas death match that we've grown accustomed to. So I'm just going to park that there. The other big thing that came out of this tonight, we've been waiting for it for at least 2 to 3 months, I'd say. But next week, we're finally going to get it. It's finally going to happen. In Chicago, CM Punk versus MJF. And, well, the promos were amazing and showed the sort of intensity you would hope for out of two guys who don't like each other, who hate each other. Now, it's best for the match that this match is finally happening next week. The feud is all promoted out with nothing left to really say, and that's been on display these last few weeks. If the program is to advance beyond next week's show, it needs the match and its outcome to propel things forward. Then there's Wardlow, who hesitated in the face of orders from his employer, further tipping his hat to an eventual babyface turn via fan-pleasing beatdown of MJF. When that happens, he will explode into the stratosphere as one of the hottest good guys in the industry. As for Punk, a win over MJF would catapult him into world title contention and feuds with top-tier opponents fans have been craving to see him wrestle since his epic arrival last August. So, Punk and MJF next week, that's going to steal the damn show. There's no question about that. So, 7.5 for me. The stuff in the middle, let some things to be desired, a couple of good things here and there. But, of course, the opening match and the main event both stole the damn show. But Cody and Sammy, wow. I would say second best AEW match of 2022 up to this point. The only one that was better was the Hangman Bryan 2 from 3 weeks ago. That's the early match of the year for this year. So, not much more to say here. 7.5. Nothing more to say. MF, take it home.
And tomorrow night, guys, we're going to be getting into it, man. We're going to be recapping the craziness that was the divisional weekend. But more importantly, we will be previewing the AFC and NFC championship games. We're going to go intensive coverage on it. Who do we predict? Who do we feel is going to be going to the Super Bowl? Well, you're just going to have to wait and find out tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern, as always, hosted by Anthony Florio on his channel, The Tone 25. Until then, for Anthony Florio, I am Michael Fletcher, saying so long, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow night.
Goodbye.